Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ben, this is Books with Genghis Khan, and today I have my summer book haul. There will come a time, hopefully, where I'm not acquiring so many books, but we have not reached that point yet, so I gotta keep bringing you these so I could find room for them on my shelves or in my closet, which is just now overstuffed with books. But I want to start with some new releases, and I'm trying to buy fewer and be better about reading these on first release, or else why am I paying the premium of getting their new releases? And I've already read this one. This is Service Model by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is his maybe newest release. I'll see. I have to check the dates on that. But this is robot, near future, Earth-based sci-fi, and it was a real delight. I really enjoyed this one. Solid robot fiction there. And this is the one I wasn't sure which came out first. So this is another Adrian Tchaikovsky new release, the Saturation Point novella. So this one is less than 200 pages. It's kind of in the same limited release that Ogres was, and that was a huge hit with me. I was glad I got that hardcover, and so his novellas usually really hit hard. Hope this one, I think this one is a sci-fi novella, so still got to read that one. And another new release that just came out that I need to get to is a big boy. That is The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman. I think this is book one of a King Arthur trilogy that he has planned. And considering how much I love his Magician's trilogy, I'm so curious to see what he does writing a very different kind of story. And one I am in the middle of right now is The Mercy of Gods by James S.A. Corey. So my favorite writing duo is back from The Expanse. And man, this is amazing. I am loving this so much. I just can't put it down for the life of me right now. And I just wish I had the next two books of this trilogy ready to go, but I think they're going to be releasing them hopefully pretty steadily. I think a novella is already going to come out soon that I can't wait to get my hands on. And yeah, cool start to this series by Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank. There was a really cool video I just watched where they discussed their collaboration over at FanFi Addict, and I'll try to remember to link that in the description, but it was so cool to hear their process and how Daniel Abraham really believes that by riffing together, just like musicians would get ideas from each other in a band, that they're able to create something better than either of them would be able to create on their own. And a very unique voice that is doing some really cool things here. Here's a couple of new releases that are a full series. So this is a duology, The Book of Astia by Zamar Amer, who has become a great friend of mine, and have had some recent chats with him on my channel and on his channel. And he just finished and released this duology and sent me these beautiful naked hardcovers, which I love. I love when the art's printed right on them. We don't have to deal with those kind of dust jackets. And I love the cover art too for these, and I can't wait to try them. I especially love having audios to read immersively and to switch off between reading and print and audio, and I know that the audiobook for book one is in production right now, and so very eager to try these soon. Alright, here's a new release that was newish in paperback, and I have all the Red Rising books in paperback. I've yet to start the kind of sequel series to the original trilogy that I loved, and people seem to go gaga for Lightbringer. Maybe I should just have gone for the full hardcover set, but I do like reading from these paperbacks and like having this matching set, and the covers and design are very sharp on this. I just don't know what to do when that final book comes out, because if I want to read all the books leading up to that, then I'm going to have that one hardcover at the end. That is not what I'm loving the thought of. I have another gift from an author that I've enjoyed before. This is a new release from Mike Mullman of the Protectors of Brittany series, starting with Becoming a Druid, which I love. And I have not opened this yet. He sent it encased in this cool map of a planet. So this is his new sci-fi release. We have a wax seal, and man, I feel bad even going to open this, but I wanted to open it live. Have some excitement here on this book haul. I don't want to break that wax seal. And we have The Halley Traveler, another naked hardcover. Ooh, very sharp. And I have enjoyed Mullman's fantasy, and I'm very curious to see what he's doing in sci-fi now. So I want to get to that soon. Get the word out about how that goes. And then we have a Broken Binding new release, which is The Scarab Path by Adrian Tchaikovsky, book 5 of Shadows of the Apt, and starting to amass my hardcover collection. They're slowly releasing one of these every couple months, and it's the only hardcovers of the series, so very happy that that is now getting closer to being a full set. Speaking of completing sets, I got the Assassin's Quest Illustrated Edition. I have the first two, and I was waiting for this one to go on sale somewhere, and now I can put it next to its brethren. And also, when I go back and reread this original trilogy, I will love doing it from these nice, beautiful hardcovers that are very affordable and have some beautiful color illustrations in there as well. So this was a gift sent to me by my buddy Colin, and it was amazing. I just read it in one day. That is Murder at Spindle Manor by Morgan Stang, the winner of the last Spiff Book competition. And man, this just completely won me over. Very much like reading a fun fantasy version of the movie Clue, which I loved watching many times growing up. And I can't wait to explore more of these gas lamp mysteries, I think that's the name of the series, with the next two books that are out. And I think the most recent one just came out. So, fun, new mystery fantasy series that I'm getting into. This is one the author sent me. It's a little novella, The Garden Maze. Cool cover design by Isaac Anderson. So I met Isaac when I went on Mike Mullman's channel for a fun creature creation video a few weeks ago. And he sent me his novella. Don't know much about it, but always game to try something new. And a few authors reached out and sent me their books. This one looks interesting, The Heretic by Nathan R. Allen in the Runes and Ruins series. I think it's about a young man who is a runic scholar and getting into some epic adventures. And so hopefully that's a big hit. And another one is Sam Middleton's Eleuthian, Tale of the Frumrier. This looks kind of like a sci fantasy blend, which I tend to really enjoy. So hopefully that one is also a hit with me. And then the next volume of The Expanse, Dragontooth, came. I don't know exactly how many there's going to be, maybe 3, but this was from their Kickstarter, where it's a graphic novel story of the crew in the time skip between books 6 and 7, when there's a nice little time skip of a few decades in the series. So this story is kind of filling in that gap a little bit with something that will hopefully be very fun to dive back into with The Expanse. Here's another Kickstarter, and that's Daniel Green's Neon Ghost series with book 1, A Witch's Sin. So curious what he does with cyberpunk. Was not in love with his very first kind of mystery fantasy novella, but I have not read much cyberpunk, and I want to see what he does with it, and love the cover design. And this one has a really cool naked hardback. Oh, I love that. So when I read from this without the dust jacket, that is going to be a delight. But yeah, very curious about that. My friend Tom Orange just read this and liked it. So, I've been watching Daniel Green for years and years. I want to see how he develops as an author. All right, and now for my book outlet purchases. I'm always cruising their website looking for great deals for really new mint condition books, usually, if they ship them okay. And here's an urban fantasy series I want to try out. This is book 1 of the Iron Druid Chronicles, Hounded. Been really enjoying having an urban fantasy series, Alex Verus, to kind of dip into between chunkier reads. So I want to keep discovering more of what's going on in this subgenre. Here's a Stephen King book I didn't yet have, Needful Things. I kind of know the premise of that, and it was really intriguing. So excited to try this one. And this is The Olympian Affair, book 2 of Jim Butcher's fantasy Cinderspire series. And I am excited to eventually try this series when it's closer to being completed. But man, I hate this cover design. It is such a step down from the swashbuckling character art of, I think, Mark McGrath, who did book 1 here. And I don't know what was behind this, whether they didn't want to pay the artist to do an original piece. Or, I don't know. Was this just like something they whipped together digitally? Or if they did pay a similar amount, why? Why not just continue in the same style? And so I'm never going to have a matching set of this series because I'm not going to get book 1 of this in the new style that they've released. And that is just very, very frustrating. All right, here's a couple books I've heard intriguing things about. It says Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James, and the sequel, Moon Witch, Spider King. These are supposed to be really unique in modern fantasy, take a literary bent, and I'm always willing to try something new. Here's one I've heard about for a very long time. Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I'm less enthusiastic now to try anything by Neil Gaiman. I've never read anything by him. But with this one being also co-authored by Terry Pratchett, I think I'm still going to eventually give it a go. Here's a Con Iggulden historical fiction set in ancient Greece, I think in the time of Pericles. That's Empire. And I've only read his fantasy series, the trilogy Empire of Salt, and loved it. Can't wait to try out his hisfic. And now that I'm loving Benedict Jacka's Alex Verus series so much, I wanted to eventually try out his new series, An Inheritance of Magic. I think it's also urban fantasy, and supposed to be pretty different in a lot of ways though. So interested to see how he chooses to go in a new direction. And here's book 2 of a series I have not yet read book 1 of, but I think I'm going to like it. And so I saw this on sale and said, why not? He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. That's the sequel to She Who Became the Sun. Yeah, I like the similar format of those titles. And beautiful cover. I hope I end up really liking this series. And I've been hearing so much buzz about this author on BookTube recently. I've not read a single book by him, and think I'm going to give it a go with Annihilation and Authority, book 1 and 2 of the Southern Reach trilogy. So, gotta grab that third one. But this one, nice and short. Always love that. And it's supposed to be very thought-provoking and unique. So, definitely want to see what's going on. Alright, now for my used bookstore haul. So, I have a bunch of amazing used bookstores with big sci-fi fantasy sections in them where I'm always finding something new if I wait a few months to go back. And when my friend Evan was here, I dragged him to all these bookstores, even though he's not into SFF. And so he was the one that was doing the blindfold book cover challenge with me recently. And while I was looking through the shelves for some fantasy and sci-fi gems, he was looking in the travel sections and found gems like Pennsylvania and its manifold activities. And, you know, it was fun to see what he was pulling out of that travel section. But I did find some gems since I've been trying to collect all of the Runelord series in hardcover. I'm getting closer to that now. This is Brotherhood of the Wolf. I don't remember which book that is. I've yet to start this series, but I think I'm going to be a fan, by David Farland. And then a Stephen King hardcover that I always see a lot of in the used bookstores. But I want to get into the multiverse now that I've read 11/22/63. I know this one is heavily kind of enmeshed in all of that. And so I want to give that one a go eventually. And now that I am 3 books into the Vorkosigan saga and loving it, I'm on the lookout for good, nice editions of those books. I have a lot of the mass markets and some of the paperback omnibuses, but not any of the hardcovers until now. So I picked up Mirror Dance in this beautiful hardcover edition. And yeah, I'm going to be on the lookout for more of those. It was a thrill to find another Dresden Files hardcover. That is Deadbeat by Jim Butcher, book 7. And I'm getting closer and closer to getting a full set, although I know that a lot of the early ones are extremely rare, so probably will never complete that, but it's always fun when I get a little bit closer. So I watched Jonathan at Words in Time a lot, and one of his favorite books popped up in the used bookstore. That's Permutation City by Greg Egan. So when I'm in the mood for some heady sci-fi, I'm definitely going to turn here. And I saw this book, and I know Alan, the Library of Alexandria, loves this series by Paul Kearney. That's The Monarchies of God. This is book 1, Hawkwood's Voyage. And yeah, I rarely see any buzz about this series except from Alan. But he really liked it, except for the last book, which he said you don't have to read. So, cool cover too. Love that. Always love when I'm at used bookstores and see whole series or trilogies that I could just get my hands on that are a matching set. And this is C.S. Friedman's Coldfire trilogy. Don't know anything really about this author, but I have heard their name thrown around a lot and have heard that Coldfire trilogy series name. Black Sun Rising, When True Night Falls, and Crown of Shadows. Ooh, we have another Con Iggulden, Emperor, The Gates of Rome. I think that's from his Julius Caesar series. And I saw in the Library Ladders video about just going through all different kind of King Arthur fiction that he was very complimentary of Mary Stuart's King Arthur series. And I saw what I think is a complete set. I actually don't know how many books are in this series, but I believe it starts with The Crystal Cave. And then we have, let's see, The Hollow Hills is book 2. And The Last Enchantment, Book 3, and Book for the Wicked Day. And I have only read, really, The Warlord Chronicles as my only Arthur story so far, and had an amazing time with that by Bernard Cornwell, and want to diversify and read a bunch more, like Lev Grossman's new one, and some very highly acclaimed older ones like Mary Stewart's. Here's one that caught me by surprise. This is a sci-fi book by Megan Lindholm. That's Robin Hobb. So Alien Earth. And I dropped the book in the store, and part of it chipped off. I'm going to see if I could tape that back. But I had no clue that Robin Hobb wrote a sci-fi book at one point. And so that was a thrill to see, since she's one of my favorite authors. And I've heard good things about Jenny Wirtz's Cycle of Fire trilogy. This is book 3, so I gotta find the other 2. Oh no, okay, no, I don't have those. They just look similar because I picked up the rest of the Deathgate cycle. I'd already had, I think, the first book, and I have now Fire Sea and Serpent Mage and the Seventh Gate and Into the Labyrinth. So I think I have all of the Deathgate cycle now ready to go. And the last thing I picked up was a nice bundle, which is C.S. Forester's Horatio Hornblower series, which inspired Bernard Cornwell, since he read these when he was growing up, and was the main inspiration for him to write his Sharpe series, which I loved so much, which was his version of showing the Napoleonic War from an infantryman's perspective, when this series shows it from a Navy man's perspective. And so I'm really curious just to see how Cornwell was inspired through these, and hopefully these will be a great time for me too, since I love being in that era. So that was my book haul, another ridiculously absurd one. But tell me what you saw in there that got you excited, that you want to try, or that you're happy I found, that you've loved in the past. And yeah, I'll catch you later.